She is green and blue, lush with beauty, and hearts as pure as gold. Touch someone with tears of joy. Touch someone with smiles of love. Oh, what happy feelings from such happy people. We are Samoa, people from the sun. Masisifo etasi olevi ingalea ilalagi ainga manu taitasi tu umai lo ao tapepe se fatasi.
Ia talofa lava Samoa o lata mai, ia o Samoa o loo mamau. Ia o re nei tūla, ia o mawhātasia nei ma re tua whine ia ana Meni. Ia o ia foi le o le sui Tuavao le whawhaipule i le ai o Carson i California nei i Amerika. O se talaanga puu mai i le tua whine nei. Ia o na iona Tuavao o se ona tamā, ia o tuala tamalelangi, ia mai le awhioanga o sa whato o le whanga, ia o se ona tinao arieta, ia mai i le awhioanga o lufi ma sapapalii i upolu savai, ia o tutuila, ia o whangatono manuuli o i malaulii ma pango. Ia o se tala puu le nā i le mawhatasia nei ma le tua whine nei, o le whamoemoenga o le nei tula fiafi, ua lata mai o le pānota i le dia November i le aso tolu. E whatau waina nā le taimire nei o le telo le langolango suaina o lona tau mawhai. Fast food tausanga, o le tamaita i sā mua lea o mawhai o nālu i le sui Tuavao whaipole, the first Samoan ever run as a mayor for the city of Carson and perhaps LA County as well. Mm-hmm. So tonight, and here we are. She's only 40 years old. She's single.
41.
She's 41. Always add one. You know, she's single. For all the single guys out there, here she is. Application still available. But make sure you have good credit. But we do not accept any American Express. No. We go all out. No credit cards, you know. We go ATM all the way through. ATM. So what is the ATM? O le alofa, tausisi. Yeah, man, you know. Now you know the money, right? Is very good. But she needs your support. If you're nearby city of Carson, and also if you have family lives in Carson, on behalf of the Civil Form or the Child for family, we invite you to invite your friends to support Anna Meni. She's running for the mayor of Carson. As for this time, like I said earlier, she's 41 years old. Put the single on the side and is focused on the TV right now. But she's going to talk about a lot what is going on the last few weeks on her campaign. But it's very, very powerful. I do not want you to miss it. Sister, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're so
welcome like that. Well, for those of you guys not familiar, my name is Anna Meni. I'm running for mayor for City of Carson. I'm actually the first name on the ballot. So for those of you who are voting from Carson, my first name is right there. It's actually Filifilia Anna Arieta Meni. It was really important for me to have my full given name, considering that I'm named after my parents. Filifilia Anna is my father's middle name, Arieta is my first name, mother's first name, and Meni is my paternal grandfather's first name. So
wonderful.
Yes, so it was very important for me to have my full given name. But definitely a lot has changed since the last time I was here.
Right.
And I feel like I've been officially baptized into Carson politics. I had my first several hit pieces against me from the mayor, our current mayor, Albert Robles. I've also now officially have my online trolls that trolled me, but you know, a good Samoan daughter that I am, I can go right back at it and go, you know, you never back down from a fight, but I'm going to have a good fun with it. So, so for those individuals who think you're going to wear this Tini Samoa down, yeah, that's not happening.
Wow. You know what is so difficult because especially we got 11 more days to go.
Yes, 10 days, yeah.
Right?
10 more days.
10 more days.
That close. But what an amazing story about history is born here in the city of Carson. Imagine you Samoans watching from all over the globe, and you have families out here in Carson, or anywhere in the United States. They do have families and friends here in Carson. All she's asking for is your support. And she has the promise that she's running with is the welfare of you Samoan and all people in the city of Carson. I know what I'm telling you what, history is made already, but we need to elect her to put it into fulfill the promise that she is running for, is for your welfare. So sister, talk to us. How's been the last 2 weeks? Besides your friend.
Oh no, he's not my friend. Maybe a friend in Jesus. But I go, everyone's a friend in Jesus, right? No, but it's definitely been a little disheartening to see in this day and age in 2020 the amount of racist remarks that I've had to endure since last week. I'm a conservative. City elections are nonpartisan, which means no political party.
Right.
Because political parties have no bearing in local races and decision making. All the decisions and issues that happen at the local level, it's Son's political party. But I'm a registered Republican. I've never hidden that fact. People can't get over the idea of a very staunch labor leader. And for those of you that were, I'm the local union president. I represent the majority of the city of Carson employees. So I'm not just a Tene Samuel who decided, let me go run for office. I'm a 24 plus year employee for the city of Carson. I've been there over the years and the changes of leadership. It's expected every 2 years, election cycle. And also too, I'm in labor leadership since 2006. And since 2017, I've served as president of AFSCME Local 809. So people can't quite figure out what to do with me, what kind of box to put me in. And so I'm a conservative. I've never hidden that fact. But our mayor, at a time that is so volatile right now because of our national politics, has taken advantage of that and sent out a hit piece, not only through email, but through mail to households across the city and also on social media, bringing in the fact that I'm the one who's being divisive. I'm going to come here and take away everything from the people, all that stuff, because I'm a Republican. I don't back down. I am a Republican. That is my personal choice. My faith, what I value, is more in line with the Republican Party. Are they perfect? No, but neither am I. And so I had people try to pressure me to re-register, maybe change to Democrat or independent, which they are retarded because they don't realize that independent is another party. I think they mean decline to state, which is no political party. But the thing is, that's not going to show the people of who I really am. And one of the things that resonates to the residents is the fact that I'm not fake. I'm not, if you're going to ask me a question, I'm going to give you an honest answer. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and break it down. And people have just grown accustomed to our elected officials just appeasing them instead of taking care of the work.
Right.
You know, and so the mayor has sent out a negative hit piece. And then also just last week, the negative hit piece said I was at a previous Trump rally earlier in the year. I just barely went to my first Trump rally, you know, which was held in Carson. And it was started because of two Samoan elders, Poesis. Judith Poesi was going to go stand on the corner with her American flag to show her support for the president. And her daughter, being the good daughter that she is, said no, she's not going to do that alone. And she went with her parents and then started to get other people to come join them. So we joined them. It was a good thing about faith and then love for your country. And like I explained to other people, you could have been a Biden supporter. We would have welcomed you and shared our donuts and water with you. But there was such amount of hatred that was posted. People were threatening us. And even also online saying they should have driven by with paint guns and throw stuff at us. We had a Antifa man get out of his car and try to come at them. It was mostly seniors. It was a lot of our Samoan elders and also a lot of the older Filipino elders.
I was going to ask you that. You're right.
Yeah, so he literally jumped out of the car, almost crashed into another car, cursing up a word, and was approaching. It was mainly some of the seniors, but I guess he failed to see the Samoan boys behind him, behind the seniors. And so, but this is what this day and age and what our mayor has done is led to such a divisiveness, you know, in our community when he, as our leader of the city, should be preaching tolerance and bringing our community together. He does the one thing to do to split up our community, all for the sake of his fear of losing his office. Wow. And so now I've had to deal with, I'll even show you screenshots of text messages. People, you know, call me dumb, lying, this and that. I'm white, trying to be a white coconut, trying to be palangi, and then, you know, going off on me and then some.
It's tough.
But yeah, no, it is tough. But that just goes to show how much more love is needed and preaching intolerance to our community.
Right.
Because the amount of hatred that was being spewed.
It's growing.
It was growing. It was like rampant online.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
So that is what I've been dealing with for the last 2 weeks. And I had to school people. it's what happens in D.C. and Sacramento is not the reason why we
That's
have
right.
problems in Carson.
Absolutely.
And the hatred that you spew of is not coming from the president; it's coming from their mouths.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so I have to check them.
You know, for our viewers, Molo Silafia, for you to know, when people chose the party that they belong to, is what they believe in that party, that it can serve the purpose of the need for the people. But it's not that you guys, we have to go against each other in a physical way or causing and all that stuff. But it's still, if you're going to fight in a clear fight. Fight a good fight.
Yeah.
Let the people decide it. This is who we want. This we want to run. But I have heard from my friends at work, and I was so moved the last week, and even a couple of days ago when I spoke with my friend about it, I was very sad.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it that it came down to this, low.
Yes.
Low.
When they're attacking our culture, our
Absolutely,
people, they said
yeah.
a brown skin, can't believe people of brown skin be that stupid, and all kinds of stuff. It was hundreds and hundreds of comments. I think by the time they turned off, the moderators turned off the comments, it was like at 700 comments. And that was within the day. But the amount of hatred that was being spewed by people and referring in even a lot of racist remarks, against Samoans because they saw a bunch of Samoans. I go, granted, there was a bunch of other people as well, but it just really took me back for a second that in Carson, as diverse as our city is, you would think that we've moved forward so many years from civil rights, but I felt like we'd taken like 20 steps back.
Right. That's
Yeah.
And if we look at Carson today, such a beautiful city. If we look back how Carson named the city after himself, right? And then I read through the Wikipedia of the city. It's so nice how when it was first founded and why it was founded and why Carson is so high now, right? The value of that city is up. When I say up, it's okay. But it's going to change this year. It's going to change because your policies is great and it fits right with younger people, right?
Our elected officials have gone straight so far away from the basic needs of why a city exists.
yeah.
The whole reason why cities are allowed to exist is to have greater local control. But what we found is that, and especially since the last time I've been here, it's all about the money. We have a lot of development that's going on in the city, and those developers have been financing a lot of 4 of the 5 elected officials, current elected officials. And these individuals, recently Imperial Avalon mobile home estates, they're going to be displaced. The developer bought out their land. But also, too, the city wasn't necessarily doing all they can do to help them within the law. And so it's very disheartening how far away our officials have gone from servicing the community. And which is why now I wasn't really much of a believer before of campaign limits at a local level, but now I understand it. I understand how that controls how city functions.
With your sacrifice and all that on the line, you put everything on the line
Yes.
just to help the people of Carson alone.
Yes.
Right? And you carrying all of them together. It doesn't matter who they are, Republican, Democrats,
Yeah.
depends. I love how you say you carry everybody with you. If they come, they come.
Right.
They come. But you are there for everyone that supports you. So what can you do different this time for the city? I love the city of Carson. I used to live in that city. So peaceful. But what can you do different?
Well, one of the things is getting back to, one big issue is our infrastructure. We need to
That's it.
stabilize it. The general public has no idea how unstable the city's infrastructure. We're saddled with numerous lawsuits, like the $80 million lawsuit that I told you guys before, that we're being sued right now from another developer. Breach of contract and negligence was the reason why I ran for office, because one thing after another.
Wow,
There are financial consequences to the actions of our elected officials, and they're always balanced off of the backs of the workforce. And the city is horrible at trying to balance the workload with the existing workforce.
Right.
It has caused such a volatile workplace that we have a high turnover rate Right now, we've had over 30 full timers leave the city since, I believe, March of last year. I started keeping tabs.
Wow.
That is unprecedented. And some people don't even bother to stay for their probation to finish. They bounce, they leave.
bounce, right?
They leave. And that just goes to, it's a reflection of our leaders and the management. I just heard right now, we are hiring for a director of public works. The person who they offered to it rejected it.
Wow.
They, rescinded. They decided not. We're having those problems.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I encourage you, sis, be bold and continue on to go forward with your dreams and your vision.
Yes,
Negatives, yes, it will come.
I expect it.
But stay positive of who you are. Remember your mom and your dad, how they taught you how to be bold. Be courageous, be strong.
Yeah.
Because the environment that we are in is totally a different ball game.
It is.
But I love the fact that you say you expect it. I'm expecting this negative is going to happen.
I expect
You
it
know.
because I've been in labor leaderships for so long. So we're accustomed to dealing with campaigns and everything like that. But the big difference is this is my campaign.
Right.
And so, and also too, you just don't know how dirty these politicians will get. And, so that's why I said I feel like I've been baptized by fire, Carson politics, so I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But, excuse me, I guess they don't think that I would just, I don't know, crawl in the corner. Or,
Right.
that's not my style. And that's not how my mother and father raised us to be. So we go headstrong and you move forward.
I sense the fact that, what do you think about the pandemic that is hovering around us right now, the COVID-19? How's the city of Carson deal with this?
Well, the city was kind of bit of horrible handling. The county of public health came out with processes for how employers should handle, workplace
okay.
areas. We had 17 positive cases. Mind you, majority of the employees were sent home. And so the rest of the remainder of the employees, a good chunk of them were telecommuting. So for the number of employees that were left, the net number of employees, 17 is like
A lot.
a lot. Which is
yeah.
why the county Department of Public Health has assigned, I believe, a specialist to the city to make sure that as an employer, that they are following guidelines to prevent spread and everything. But, it was because they refused to listen. Also, too, we have a COVID-19 testing site on the
Right.
location. We've had so many issues with that company, even before their first test. They never existed before the COVID-19.
Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
it was something that the mayor, conjured up and brought in. That company, we've had so many people who either couldn't get their test results, they mix up their tests. People got negative or positive test results, and they never tested. And people who got positive, got all upset and frantic and got their whole families away to test it elsewhere, only to find out they were negative. It is, I go, they're jeopardizing the public's health by giving them a false sense of security.
Wow.
It's been bad, and that's why I recommend over and over again, do not go to the testing site in Carson. Go elsewhere. Look on the
Yeah.
County of LA's website. They have locations where you can test. If I've already reported this company to the
Yes.
county public health.
Another thing I want to ask you, the poverty, right? The population. How are you going to deal with this, with the poverty and a population that's growing?
That's
in
another
Carson?
thing that's it bothers me so is the lack of priority on affordable housing. I said we have so many individuals who cannot afford to live in Carson. So many of my members have had to move out of Carson because they can't even afford a flat to rent in Carson. And also for those who can, they don't understand the logic of spending so much money for an older apartment when all the surrounding cities around us, you could find a cheaper apartment that is actually refurbished and modernized.
Right.
And so they haven't prioritized that. There's a lot of development that's going to be happening that the residents just don't actually know. The complex that's built, that's almost 300 units on the corner of Carson and Avalon, people are really upset about that one. Little do they know, there's already plans in the place to get approved for 1,000 more units of various projects from Carson and Avalon to the 405 freeway in Avalon. The residents have, and this is what happens when you have lack of civic engagement.
Right.
And like I just did a candidates forum last night, and the last question they asked all of us was, we're always asking you guys candidates what you can do. What would you like for us to do? And my answer is civic engagement.
Yes.
We need people to be
Yes.
involved in their local in entities, not months leading up to the election, but year round. I explained them last night. I go, we have maybe 5 of us who regularly attend a city council meeting.
Right.
We are a population of 91,000
Yes.
and 60,000 voters.
Yes.
So that is a horrible number, but
It's a big number, right?
it is.
Big
It is.
gap, yeah.
So it's a matter of getting people engaged, but also too breaking it down for people so that they understand how local government works. People easily get discouraged because it's a little confusing to them, so they don't know. So it's a matter of that's why I tell them, contact me. I've been employed for the city for over 24 years.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things of me having institutional knowledge, why I would be able to hit the ground running on day one. Because
Right.
I can call BS on the city when I know that they're BSing.
Right.
I understand how everything works. We understand where we need to be strategic and make things more streamlined.
Right. So there was a family, for example.
Yeah.
If there was a family that they down to their last dollar, and they called you, Anna Meni, this is it. We can't do this no more. And let's say that you're the one that you're the captain of the ship now,
Yeah.
running the city. Do you have a plan already for the families that they can't afford to live there?
So that's part back into explaining what services and stuff every entity does.
Right.
So the county, there are certain things that the county has domain over, and also placement like that. People putting in assistance, even from
Okay.
homeless, assistance, rental, and everything. County already has existing programs. And so what it is,
Wonderful.
it's a matter
Okay.
of linking in those in need with the services, the resources that are available to get them going. But this is another reason why I said we need to really emphasize about jobs. In this day and age, so many people have lost their jobs. So now they're going to be competing, not with the regular individuals, but everybody in the world who's competing for jobs. And this is why I tell people we can't afford affordable housing if they don't have a job to pay for it. And also, too, the job that we need to place them in, it needs to be something that they can afford to raise their family off of one income.
Right.
Not
Right.
having to have 2 or 3 part-time jobs. I said, no, we want something sustainable long
Yes.
term. And so part of that has to do with individuals giving them the necessary training. And this is why I'm really big about us aligning with people to go to the trade side. Because if you're not going the education route and if you don't have the work experience, then we need to put you in line with training so that
Right.
you can get I go, no pun to the minimum wage, but it was never expected to live off of that.
Right. You know what? You're right. And I love the fact that you have all that in plan already and that you already know what you're going to do, right, for the families. So now let's shift the gears to the school,
Yes.
right? Some families, even today, and I'll be honest with you, I have to go to school and try to get a computer for my daughter, because they're staying home and do online.
Yes.
And then the next thing I found out, well, the computer is not all that great. They keep kicking it off the school, so I end up by the Apple. So for our Samoan folks that are listening tonight, they depend on you. They say, this is our daughter. Let's see what our daughter has to say to us, to help us. Talk a little bit about the school, so that way our Samoan parents understand, why we're doing the school the way we're doing and how come, we look
Yeah.
for the delay. Because I'm pretty sure some of the Samoan families, they still
Yes.
didn't get the right idea,
One of the things is them to understand that the kids are not playing around. They legitimately have to be on the computer. I hear time and time again of different friends and stuff like that trying to explain to their grandparents and their parents that
Right.
the kids aren't playing. They're not available to go do the house or something. They're in school.
Yes,
And
yes.
so part of that is really drilling into our parents and grandparents that you have to treat it like as if it's work. They have to be, and even if it's a thing of creating a little cubicle for them so that the kids are just on the computer focusing, not paying attention to what's going on in the house, because it's hard enough already for kids to focus. And so
Right,
part of
right.
that is it's a cultural thing.
Yes.
I find from Hispanic and island cultures is that everyone says kind of the same thing. the parents and the grandparents don't believe the kids are really in school. They're
Right.
playing on the computer. And, their parents trying to explain to them, no, they're legitimate. So it's a cultural thing. But also, too, if possible, parents set up something, a designated area. There's even programs and stuff where a lot of people have started building desks for kids.
Right, yes,
So
yeah.
that the kids can have their own little designated area in their home. And, honestly, I find from different people saying they need their kids to be facing the wall. So they're not getting busy looking at what everyone
yes.
else is doing,
Yeah.
and that they're only focusing on school,
Yeah.
and their parents can check on them from behind.
God.
So
Yeah.
it's little tips and stuff. But first, it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing that everyone has to
Yeah.
understand. They're really doing school. Also, too, it's helping. I know the school district passed out computers for those who need it.
Right.
But then also, too, what I had hoped the city kind of dragged its feet on was doing a citywide Wi-Fi. I mean, and also, too, if people don't have Wi-Fi, and if the school district was supposed to give their kids cards so
Right.
that they can log on. I know there have been different issues and stuff like that. I really wish the city had taken the opportunity for those, especially who are having a hard time. We would have opened some of our facilities that are closed and allowed some kind of arrangement so that the
Learning,
kids
yeah.
can just use the Wi-Fi so
Wow.
that they can, there's little different things that we could have done as assistance. And I feel like the city really dropped the ball. And
Yeah.
one of the things for assisting the parents, and not just the parents, people in general, is compiling all the different available resources for different issues. And so
Right.
one of the things was I would have aligned all these different organizations and the individuals who started building desks for kids in need. They financially can't afford it. We can line it up with and providing these resources to the community that
Wonderful.
there's, even if they're out of the area. I saw one in Chino. The city could have arranged to, like, okay, you know what we could do? X amount of individuals, desks are willing to donate, and we already have families lined up for it. We'll
Right.
send the city staff in the truck to go pick it up for them and go do deliveries. That could have been a way that the city could have helped that would have been a minimal, fiscal impact
Right.
against the city, but would have done wonders. So
Wonderful.
there's different things, and it's a matter of assessing what the need is and figure out what's the course of action and then carry it out.
The economy for the city of Carson, we'll just talk about the city of Carson,
Yeah.
right? The percentage of the unemployment and the percentage of the people that are working. What's the data? Is it
I haven't actually seen the data because part of the problem is people have been returning back to work. I was just speaking to a friend today in labor. I said the problem that I'm finding out from people the last 3-4 weeks, individuals who've been slowly been called back to work. So therefore they're cut off of unemployment because they've returned to work, but their return to work status is not at the full number of
full
hours
number.
as before.
Right.
So now they've gotten cut off from unemployment, but also too, they're not making enough because now they're working X amount of hours. They're not
Okay.
working full 40. Say they're working 20. But
Oh,
now
okay.
those 20 hours they're working has now disqualified them from unemployment because now they've exceeded the work week of, the value. So now people are struggling for different reasons. It's the reason why I've had so many people contact me. They don't personally know me, but they've seen me share on the different Carson Facebook forums about food bank distributions, asking me, are there any more? Because they needed to falava their food.
Yes.
Because they're making money, but it's nowhere near enough to keep them going. So now they're having to falava it with different resources.
Wow.
And so it's redirecting people to different things and food banks. Anyone listening, there is a food distribution happening tomorrow, City of Inglewood, at the Forum from 1 to 5 p.m. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
another
Yeah.
get out the vote, food distributions. I'll be over there helping out. I volunteer. I'm part of the Labor Community Services COVID-19 Volunteer Corps. So
Oh.
we've been working food distributions throughout LA County throughout this whole shutdown. They've hosted, I believe, over 50 or so, almost 60 of them. I've worked about almost 40 of them. I
Oh,
don't
my
keep
goodness.
tabs, but
Yeah.
we're blessed beyond measure, and we need to be a blessing to others. So
Right.
that is my thing.
So time frame,
Yes.
right? How do you balance your time with yourself, your campaign, your job, and church at the same time?
So
How do you
I
work?
was actually off from work during the whole pandemic. They just called us back last month and I went in for one day just to tell them I'm taking time off. Because I work for the city of Carson, and those of you guys who are not familiar with state law, you are not allowed to use government resources for campaign. So literally, if I got a call while I'm on the clock, that would be grounds for me getting in trouble. So that's why I had to take time off. So, and the only reason why they called us back to work last month, because the city got slapped with a $1 million unemployment bill. They didn't listen to me back in March when I told them that unemployment's not free.
Right. It's not free.
Well, according to our mayor, city manager, director of HR, city attorneys, everyone, didn't listen to the person who worked for 14 years in payroll.
Yeah.
Who used to see the bill and everything. So they got their first bill, and they were a little sticker shock. And I told them that's only for the first quarter. You had people off for another quarter.
Yeah. You still working now?
I'm off on time off right now. So I took time off until after the election because I can't run the risk
Yes.
At the same time,
of even the simplest thing, taking a phone call, which would be during office hours, and I'd be on paid time. So,
it's a wonderful thing.
And why you decided to run under the flag of the Democrat?
Well, city elections are nonpartisan, which means no political party. But I'm registered as a Republican. So people were saying you were lying, you weren't providing that info. I go, no, we're not allowed to. On our ballot, in our sample ballot, which has our candidate statement, you're not allowed to list any political party affiliations.
Right.
Because it's a nonpartisan race. Because it has no bearing how the city operates. The city goes down the hellhole, that's because of our 5 elected officials.
Did you watch the last night between
the debate?
Trump, the debate.
Yes, I did watch it. I watched most of it. I had to log off because I had to log in for the candidates forum. So I didn't catch the very end of it, but yes.
Okay, yeah. So what is your key to successful mayor? Let's talk about it. Now you're in it. I believe it. You're in it. I believe it. We'll talk about you're in it.
Okay.
What is your successful key as become a mayor?
You have to, first off, reevaluate everything and see what is a necessity and what is a luxury.
Wonderful.
And then within the necessity, you have to prioritize by the need and also the mandates. So there are a lot of things that we're legally mandated to do. So those have to take priority because those legal mandates also have penalties. Financial penalties. So you have to balance and disseminate the information. What is a luxury? What is a need? And then within the need, we have to prioritize it and look at the budget. One of the things that we have a problem with the city is a lot of project cost overruns in the millions of dollars. Like, for example, I think the city had to final pay 405 freeway in the Wilmington exit and everything. That was like going on for I don't know how many years. I think they paid close to 30-something million or something. There were so many project cost overruns. And so we have a problem with that. Even the Carson Street corridor, when they redid the whole Carson Street corridor. The city is always such in a rush to get going, get started on things so they can tout, look what I did, but not really vet out the plan. And to make sure that everything's in order, all the key stakeholders are in play, we got everything in line, where's our timeline, and do that. They don't do that at all. I'm very particular about that because being the youngest of a large family, naturally, someone, family girl, you're dumped with everything.
That's it.
So this is what people don't understand. It's a natural thing. So I hate running around last minute, spending any extra money that I didn't need to spend. If I go bulk shopping or whatever, but it's with everything. You do a full plan, you do a timeline, you figure out your budget and everything. But that's the problem with the city is they're so gung-ho of rushing through contracts. It takes more time to plan projects out than it is to execute. Because what it is, granted, there'll be some little hiccups here and there, but it shouldn't be to the point of impacting the project that it would exceed the little buffer that you put in, usually like 10% of a project. The city's project overruns tend to be like average 40 to 50%. It is, and that goes back to poor project planning. So a lot of that, anything contract related, we also have a lot of contract services that the city does not reevaluate. Our legal services, we pay an exorbitant amount of millions of dollars for legal services in comparison to other comparable cities. That is not necessary. Our city attorney has taken advantage along with our mayor and entrenched herself in every aspect of the city. And it became more of a personal and not a legality issue. So there's a lot of things like that or hidden costs. It's out there in the public, but if you actually don't read the council reports and look at it, so it's a lot of things like that, reevaluating, also all over different programs and everything, reassess them, whether or not we're hitting that target, or why are we having special events just so that they say they have it when we have a low turnout. That means that we need to reevaluate, what does the community really want? What do they value? We need to change it up. It's very stale. It's very stale and dated because our elected officials like this certain thing that's been done for like 20 plus years.
Goodness.
Yes.
You know what? I love what you said. Let's put it this way. You're going to inherit somebody else's mess.
Yes.
And your plan for, let's say this, your plan for 4 years, for example,
Right.
right? It's going to be a little bit back burner because it's what has been done that 4 years before your time.
Correct.
Now you're going to have to connect it this 4 years to that 4 years. Now you're going to drag it over to your new 4 years.
So one of the things that's fortunate is the city is on an annual budget year process. We don't do biannual every 2 years.
Right.
So whoever is elected in January, and November, are sworn into office usually by January.
Right.
January, February starts the budget process for the fiscal year, for the next fiscal year.
There you
Yes.
go.
So you start having the departments start turning in their proposed budgets to finance in January. And then they start doing the budget workshops in February, March, the council, and they're open to the public.
Good.
So you can actually do a lot of effective change immediately. It's a matter of understanding how we exist now, what your goal is, and how do we reach from here to there. That's the problem, the disconnect, is people not recognizing where we at now. And they have these lofty ideas, but they're not practical.
Not practical.
Correct.
And that is so difficult.
Yes.
I mean, the way you explain it, yes, she's right on target. But you have to see it for yourself. Take a ride down to the city of Carson. It's a beautiful city. It is a beautiful city. But I'll tell you what she's talking about, you got all the answers when you drive in the city today. It's totally different city.
It is.
It's totally different.
It's a different city. That's why I like to hang out and sit on the steps in City Hall, and I look and I just shake my head.
I'm boxed in. When I go in, like I'm boxed in with...
Oh, if you feel boxed in now, you're really going to feel boxed in about 2 years when all the different developments where the current Doncott properties, those of you guys are familiar in Carson, where the Doncott lot is.
Where the dealer was.
Yes. And then the Kia lot across the street,
Right.
plus the lot behind the Arco gas station,
Oh
it's
my
going to be like 1,000 units. It's one developer. The residents have no idea. They don't pay attention. So it's in the process. It's on the verge of the planning commission approving. And this is, someone asked me, why did I run for mayor versus council? I said, let me explain to you how local government works. The mayor in Carson sets the city council agenda,
That's
what
right.
goes on the agenda. The mayor is also the one who appoints the commissioners.
Commissioners, right?
Correct. And so I go, the mayor appoints, but it is affirmed by the body as a whole. I said all the different players is set by the mayor, including the city manager, and how the city manager is the lead staff person over the city organization. They are the separation. The elected officials are supposed to be the visionaries and the policymakers. The city manager is supposed to take that vision and those policies and figure out a way how to create, how to put that into play in the workforce.
So do you think the current mayor is doing the great job rebuilding that city, or
No.
no?
No, trust me. I would not put myself through all this. Everyone goes, why would you put yourself through this? I said, because I cannot allow my fears to overtake. I know what my abilities are and what I know our city needs. We can't continue on this path. I tell people, with every single lawsuit and issue we have at the city, at the hands of our elected officials, their decisions that they make have financial consequences. And so as the leader and the president of the largest bargaining unit at the city, I represent the majority of the workforce.
Right.
So there's always a fiscal impact. There's always shifting people around. And this is why I explained to everybody the correlation about the monies
Right,
being
yeah.
misspent. When there's less money being spent, there's less money for staffing. If you have no staff, there's no services.
services.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
services,
right.
then you
Yeah.
have angry, pissed off residents and businesses.
Yes.
I tell people that's our circle of life here at the city. We've all watched Lion King, you know, so that's
Yeah.
our circle of life. And I said, so when any part of that circle, if there's a disconnect, I go, it throws everything off. And so these lawsuits, one after another after another, but the $80 million one, it's $80 million.
That stands.
Yes.
Yes, that stands higher.
Yes.
There's way.
What about homeless situation within the city right now?
Part of the problem with the homeless, like once again, the county has lead over services and everything for the homeless, but it's disheartening that some of our elected officials flat out have said during the council meeting just such a negative tone towards the homeless, and it just blows my mind. I go, okay, we're public servants. You're supposed to serve the community with a servant's heart, regardless of what the situation they're in. We still need to help them. The problem is the different laws that are in place and policies by our state prevents people of forcing them. So I feel bad for families who, these people have families, a lot of them do,
right.
but they can't do anything because the laws, you know, bound their hands. They can't
Right.
force their family members into treatment. That's something they have to go into themselves. But also, too, you have the problem of the NIMBYs. Have you heard of that term?
Yes.
Not in my
Not in
backyard.
my backyard. No.
So,
Yeah.
right. So the county has a hard time identifying places for sites, whether it be for rehabilitation, housing, other services, class for homelessness.
Right.
But they have to have a certain criteria. And so it takes a while for a county to identify a location within their budget and everything to do that. But then when they identify it, then the NIMBYs come out.
Right.
So you can't complain about the homelessness. And then when the county brings something,
It's different.
right. So it's a matter of changing the mindset with our people of acceptance, and also too, the way the city is addressing it is they just have the sheriff's department break up the encampments.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, and so also too, we need to provide more housing, portable housing, so that we can stop people from becoming homeless. My whole strip right outside of my union office is lined up with RVs. It's part of the county where they allow them overnight parking. These aren't your typical stereotypical homeless living on the street or anything like that under a bridge. They actually have jobs, but they just can't afford anywhere to live.
Shelters. Yeah.
So and they're not in the shelter phase. They still have jobs. So you see them all leave for work in the morning. They maintain the sidewalk. They keep it clean and everything. But it's a constant reminder, me looking right outside my union office, of how quickly I can go one way or the other.
Right.
I could be them. Who knows?
You know, the city of Carson, right,
Yeah.
is one of the richest city in the LA County, and a lot of people don't know that. And this city served the community and the LA County for so long, because these are the city reporting all the medals and the junkyards and all back in the days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they served the LA County faithfully.
Yes.
And now it's totally different. you know?
It is totally different, and I think sometimes our officials need to be humbled and remember where we came from.
Exactly.
And also, too, it's not about trying to emulate other cities. Like
Right.
our councilwoman, who my opponent, continues to bring up about referencing everything to Beverly Hills, almost like a put down to our city. I said, then move to Beverly Hills. It's one
Yes.
thing if you take different aspects from other cities that you like and incorporate it. It's another thing to put our city down. I love my city.
Absolutely.
They drive me
Absolutely.
nuts, but I love my city.
Absolutely.
Do you
know.
have a history of Samoan people? Why and when they settled down this city?
Most of them was in the early ones when they all migrated because either the port or because of the military.
Okay.
That is why they came to Carson even before Carson was incorporated in 68.
68.
Right. My parents came
Break away
here.
from Wilmington and San Pedro.
Yes,
Right?
because there weren't that many areas where they can afford to go move into and live into, and also where people would actually sell.
Yes.
I had a lot of, I've been in the state for a long time, and so I worked during the time when our Nisei generation of the
Yes.
Japanese, those were the internment camp. They had told me about how hard it was for them to, even them, to buy homes. If they had somebody who was a relative who didn't have a Sapangi name,
Yeah, right.
they would buy the house for them
Yes.
and then switch it over because racism was real. But they said also too that's the same reason why a lot of minorities congregated and
Right.
settled in certain areas. With Carson, Wilmington, San
San
Pedro,
Pedro.
and then
It's-
parts of
it's
Gardena.
crazy. I just love the quote from George Henry Carson, the one who named the city after his name. I love this city so much, and I believe and I trust him with my name to carry it on for a lifetime. That's a great quote, and it's so simple the way he said
Yeah.
it. And look where we are today.
We were close to being named Dominguez. It was like 50 something
Right.
votes. Yeah.
That was that close. But
It was
the
that
woman.
close.
That was the wall from what the Spanish.
The Spanish grant.
The 1800.
The Dominguez family, and then it was the nephew who had the area. The nephew had a bunch of daughters. One of the daughters married Carson. Another one married Torrance. Another one married Delamo.
Right.
It was the different daughters who married. Their names, the Dominguez family is imprinted across this whole Southern California.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you confident, Anna?
I'm always confident.
Are you going to have a chance to win the election?
That I'm always Team Anna. High self-esteem on that one. No, what it is, it's like you just don't know with the temperament of our community. It honestly, and there was I expected a hit because of the I know the mayor is a dirty person, dirty politician, and so he did do that. But so you never know. But I also very surprised at the silent majority for all those negative comments and everything online. I had quite a few individuals who would private message me and let me know they're disgusted by this behavior, this and that. They're ready for change. And they're on board with me and are voting. Because at the end of the day, it's not all the social media, I call them keyboard warriors. I always tell people, I go, be as vigilant as you are on online, in person. I go, pull on up. You guys can find me in the city. I'll meet you guys. Let's see if you guys have that same liquid courage. I think that's the one thing I don't like about online is that it's giving these people that false sense of security that they can mouth off.
Boom. Once you turn around, you come right back. Goes, what happened? What just happened? But I'll tell you what. What I love to listen to what you were saying is, you never use the word, "I'll do it," right? I'll do it. I love it. You always want to help,
Yes.
and that's what people want today. People does not want you to what you can do for me. No. How can you help me and my family? We're struggling. How can you help my family take me out of this mud we're stuck in?
But you just hit it right there.
Yeah.
Our officials are so disconnected with what the average man and woman is going through,
Right.
because they haven't experienced any strife, loss, or anything. They've been getting their full pay this whole time. They get their car allowances. They're so out of touch, and that's what's so disheartening. And it gets to a point where I hate the fact where our residents feel like they can't even come to their officials because they're just. I've had them over and over. Residents tell me who reached out to me is that, they're explaining their problems,
Right.
and they're just like, okay, we'll get to you. And they're like, how are you going to get to me? You didn't even take my name and number down.
Right.
Different things. And that always bothers me because we didn't grow up with money. So I understand the value of $1, but I feel like our officials have become so complacent and so out of touch.
You're a very, very humble person. The way that you're running this campaign, you're not looking at it to benefit yourself. Just want the audience to understand she's not doing it to benefit herself. She's doing this to help and to benefit your family and your future. What she can do, if she can be able to put some money into your pockets and take your family out of the poverty that you're in or whatever circumstances that you're in, she is the one that she can help you. And there's no fluke. She didn't just wake up the next day and goes, I'm going to do it. She has this vision for a while. But it takes a long time for her just to put everything like a puzzle. If you put a puzzle together, and I hope the last rose is for my sister, because She can help you. Carson, here she is. You know, what are we waiting for? Samoan people, that it's time to vote.
Yes.
Call your family. You know, that you live in Carson. If you live in Utah, Torrance, whatever, you know, let your family know in Carson. Invite your friends to support her. You know, o le tama ma le tene Samoa o alo ma whanau si o tātou ta mama si o tātou tina. You know, e fia fo le nganga e tātou mata atu, matapu ai. Ia o tau ma whai se tua whine nei, ma se tama ia ma se tene ia te auto. Ia a wāne saunga le mo, ma le saoro tonga o tātou tangata. Sister, it's not done yet.
Oh,
I
no.
just love the fact that I allowed to talk to you about these things. I'm not a good politician. I don't know.
I'm not a
about that.
politician either. I hate
Just take a little
politicians.
break. Just take
Yeah.
a little break, and
Yeah.
then we come back.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue on our night with Anna Meni running for the mayor of Carson. Thank you for joining us.
Humble beginnings. Ia e mana tua upua o tātou tua a. Se whai mai e loa le tamale I lana tu. O lana savau, malana tautau. Ia le whaatua o ia loa lo whai so se tangata. Ia aua ne tanu mia lau whaalo ala. Ile suma lia leo leo langa le ni. Ma ia mana tua, ia whaamua mua le tua I leo matato te whai. Awa pe e te le tue fo I mai I olo whanua lana lau au. Ia aua ne ngalo. O oe o le Samoa moni.
Lava I o le taimire nei toi tali mai tatou whasaralonga I mane mai moanga mai fu e Samoa mai I atu nuu fio o le larolangi nei ia o le tamai taide nei ia ana Meni ia o halu fu e sui Tuavao mo le whaipule I le awhioanga o Carson I California. So thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining us tonight. So we're going to continue on our time with Sister Meni. Because it's very important what she's trying to do and what she's going to. It's not the easy job in the whole world. It is hard.
10 more days ago.
We got 10 more days.
Yes.
10 more days with 10,000 people. Oh my goodness. Imagine that was going to happen. You know, imagine.
That'd
right?
be awesome.
That would be awesome.
What's
But
the population of Carson?
91,000.
91,000 is the last census.
Yeah. That's the last one. 91,000.
But 60,000 registered voters,
Registered voters.
which is high, but we have such a low voter turnout.
I don't know.
We have a very
91,000?
91,000 as of the last census, and we have about 61,000 voters. But we have such a low voter turnout.
So it's a small city compared to Long Beach.
Yes, yes, we're considered. If you're a city less than 100,000, you're considered a small city.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is why the census is so important,
Yeah.
and this is why I was upset with the city because they were not advocating until the 11th hour for the census, because the census data dictates the funding for federal, state, county for the next 10 years.
Yes.
Yes.
And that also includes with nonprofits, info that do work. They use the census data.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Wow. So, running for office is not the easiest job in the world. It comes with thumbs up and thumbs down.
yeah.
What it means, ups and downs in life, and judgment, and people will come out of nowhere. They will say things that is inappropriate, but many stood her ground, and even standing her ground for you. This is your voice, and your vote is count as your voice to support your voice, and this is your voice in the politics, and even the whole city of Carson. She will do whatever she can to support you and your family, but she needs your support. Tātou ainga mafo I Samoa. Ia to tele tātou I Samoa, ia e le mawhaino I tātou le pālota, pe ai sea. E ele ma le nganga vai lava, e whautua tua I le paia malma maru Samoa. I rao I lau puata mawhai ngā. Whaungaru teimi whamole. Ia nauna e kisi lava lo sua whamos, teini ne ia ana Meni. Ia ona tuuleo I e whailana ngā luenga, ai pati mapo matapua I tātou Samoa. o le tausanga pito sili le nei mana tāua ia te tātou umalava. Le ua tau whaafunga mai, o le maa nei e whate o toine o lana whainga malanga i tonu. A Manuia le tamo whaia le tua whine nei, Samoa, ua pale mai o i se pale Manuia, ai le ngata i lea. Ia o utu wā oi, i oi, e toa tele fo i tātou Samoa ina nofo i tangata o isi atunu. Wawa ai fole o tātou le tamao ainga, le alofa o le tua whao ngā i eile nei teine. Ia e vea mo tātou sui, ma leo mo tātou o lo mawhati o fia maua se Manuia. Ia, o le tala lava le asteine e fia fesosoani mo oe, e fia fesosoani mo oe, o le whaipule. Ia o le amatanga fo le i olo na i o langa mano soifuanga. Ia, tau tua i o na mātua, wha Manuia ina le tua, le la sau e tau tua oe Samoa le tunu tele, ma le lau tele o tangata uma te tono Carsone. Ia ele ngata e fo ina, o le wholo i whafo, o Long Beach, i o Inglewood, la hefa so soani vosi nei tene i whawhanga tangata o le ini mea ai, ia, ma tu ina atu o pusa mea ai nei a inga lo mana o miere mea ai le nei vai tau. A Samoa, whamolmole, ia, o le teimire nei, ia, a matalona suela o ID, ia, te tala computer no wholunga register online, ia, le teimire a sauri pālota wa wale to e mawhaina sauri pālota le teimire le tusi, ia, e mawhaina e arulun online, ia, na aru le i whale pālota o le sitala ai o lo i le zip code oi po le address i a Polo City, ia na e pālota lea, nei numero mua lava le swafa. Numero, she's number 1 on the list, you will not miss it. No, lea foi na whaftai ai woma pāanga foi ai Carson ne, ia wa, ia o nei tangata ne, ia leo te whatu sao lava, ia e leo tangata Samoa, ia o tangata atunu, ia a leva ai, ia lea e o lava e lango si nei teine, ia lea lofa nao le tangata e leo whaapit, e leo whatua au ia, o lea lofa lava lea mo tua whine nei.
If you live out of Carson, if you live out of California, but if you have friends, if you have relatives live in the city of Carson, please let them know to vote for Anna.
Feel free to go to my Instagram or Facebook page. It's the same handle, Meni for Mayor, MENI, the number 4 Mayor. So you can find my information. I recommend the best thing that people have been doing is resharing my posts and tagging me. And so my personal page is Anna Meni on Facebook and Fob Mama on Instagram. But Meni for Mayor, because one of the things is I've actually, because of the last time I was on with you guys, a lot of your overseas people reshared the different posts.
Yeah.
So then their family and friends in Carson actually found me because of that.
Yes.
So I want to thank you guys, thank your audience.
Yes,
and doing
good
that.
job, really good job.
You know, the
Yes.
power of social media, you know, the one thing you guys could do is repost and tag me and just, you know, encouraging your family and friends and stuff to vote for me. And also, too, they can get a hold of me. My cell phone number is online as well. But I'll go ahead and give it 310-507-4661. A lot of people, even our own Samoan community, you know, feel hesitant about voting for me. But I put my number out there to, you know, speak to the people and let them know what I'm really about. Because it's not just me being a Samoan Tene just deciding I'm going to run for office. No, I've been at this for years with the city. And so
24 years.
Right.
Wow. That's
And so, you know, just to ease people's fears and everything and to get a better understanding of what I'm about. And it's not about just serving the Samoan community. When I look at people, it's not whether a Democrat, Republican, Samoan, or Filipino, whatever. It's a matter of we're all Carson residents. We're all brothers and sisters in Carson. And so that is how I look at it. And that's why I'm here to serve, to help our people.
You know, I was in the city of Carson the last 2 weeks, a few funerals. And I saw a lot of Samoans. I was thinking of you. So, you know, I was thinking you can come around and meet all these people.
You know, it's funny. I had a resident online complaining about me not going to churches. This is a Maoli person, mind you. And because, you know, when election cycle hits, you have all these candidates go from churches to churches. And, you know, and she put on there, why weren't you going to, like, the churches? I go, well, first off, most of the churches were doing online. I go, second of all, I personally hated when candidates would come by our church. I go to church in Wilmington, but I used to hate it. I felt like it was disingenuous. I feel our elected officials should visit the churches, all the churches, regardless of what religion, and throughout the year as being the leader of our community, but not the ramp up months before election. Such fake. So fake. I personally hated that. So I tell people I'm not going to lose myself or make this perceived image, this fake image of myself to sell myself for the sake of votes.
Right.
But I really hated that.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. It's one thing to go for a visit. It's another thing, disingenuous. So.
Ore ai o Carson e. E ese le matango fi o le ai lea. From 1996, no foi le ai lea. Ia sa yele Filipino, sa meia. O la ula na fai pule 1996, ia so mai la usoi, ia lo umo foi la vetato i Carson il tala. Ta fere tau ofe, ia. Wa halu wala atole meia ia ma tatou taimile na. Vai taimile na le iwa ono se ia o mai le tutuani. Na e vai le cap Atua la vo le city de Carson. Ne la sa wis taine lea. Carson, and this is why she come into play. Seriously. She saw all that from the young age and 24 years in the making. Look how long God is working in her life to bring this vision into play. This is the year. And she was patiently wait. You know why? She was patiently wait for you. For you. It's you the one who's going to put her on the map. It's you. It's no one else. People of Carson, e fui tātou sa mo demokrasi. Vai tātou temine. Demokrasi ia. Ano foi Carson. O te palo te ia. A o ia o demokrasi. Ale la vai palo te ia tua finene. Vai la ia. Ona isea lango lava tātou tamo whaio nei teine. Lango lava tātou. She's by herself and God on her side and a support from her family. But there are times that she has to leave her family separate from what she's doing to best you and me. She wants to help. All she wants to do is to ask you, vote for her. And then she will take care of the rest. And all you and me to do, take care of our kids, and she'll take care of the rest. My finger fear, I let easy fight pule if I long wait tato. Yeah. Vote for me, then wait for me. I'll tell you there. Leai. Palota metia. No le evelo palota ton ole city pola ayo Carson. If I tino mai ngal wenga nei.
Fear Yoshida.
No.
Go vote for Anna.
Yeah. Fear Yoshida o talo fai. Yeah. Vai yeah. Taimilna yeah. Mataulia tato umalave Australia, New Zealand, Samoa to Tuila.
Yeah.
Stay there. Stay there. Paula Valea. Yeah, o feola o itatu te sa iri masi tofi masi suya tatu Samoa. Se tu atu Samoa te tonu fafanua o le America. O America I mea tau fafai pole. Right. This is all she is. Natural. Remember on the Twitter and Instagram, all the single guys has to come through us first. We gotta check the verse. She didn't say for
Man,
all
you
the
wouldn't be a
guys.
typical Samoan brother if you were doing something like that.
We have to check all the applications and the name and the ages, make sure it's legit. Because if you got back greatest brother, sorry. You have to go through Tula Epa. Come to me. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, but Talo Faisal. Anna, we just cannot say it enough about you. How your sense of humor is so good, and you fit right into your character. It fit right as a fight bullet for Carson. You're very well prepared for it.
It was never the intent, but God had bigger plans.
That's right.
And so, can't deny it, but well, this is going to be a fun ride. And it's definitely, I can handle this. But it's a matter of, I need everyone to get their votes. To go ahead and vote, have it go in a leap of faith.
That's it.
Yeah.
Leap of faith. One step at a time. O te mine ia tātou Samoa, ia awa tātou te whaavai pesi o tai au. O te mine o computer ia, 24 hours, 24/7. Now if o telefoni whai o whaonga ai, register. Tukulau suafa I tone, vave atu e maualau tali maur email I tai au, ia, o mana register oi, ia, whailau palota. O le au ngalo lon tau mawhai. O le tau mawhai o le teine nei. Ia o se alo ia te o tau se tu lau lava. E au ngā le mo tātou le wa aisa mo le vai tau le nei. E leo tue whaingo fie le nofo i le lalo langi. Whainga tā. E tā ua vai, wa iai le sui o tangata Spaniolo i te tono le ai lea. Wa iai Panalangi, ia wa iai Amerika. Ia wa iai fo te tono Filipino. Wa tō titi lava all nationality. Find a way in.
Yeah.
I toi au Samoa. And this is our year.
Yes.
But
You know,
that would be the first lady, yeah.
first time.
In the
First
city of
lady.
Carson?
Yes.
as a mayor.
So I'm actually on the official ballot. Last person I was aware of that someone that ran in city of Carson was June Boesi.
Oh, that was
Name
right.
Vienna. That was in the
She-
early
she
80s.
Yeah,
ran-
the 80s.
I think she was a write-in candidate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was a write-in, but
Vienna.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm the first officially on the ballot.
ballot, yeah.
And we're not aware of any Samoan ever being elected in a city position in the state. I do know there are some school board members up
Right.
north, people who are on different school boards, but I'm not aware of, we've checked the data for
And all-
mayor
and-
or city
and-
council.
And all California, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't find.
Yeah.
That's
A
right.
lot of them go through the scholastic, they go through the education, they go through school board.
Yeah.
Those are the,
Wonderful.
yeah, so it's a first for everything. Yeah.
Let's say that your first time in the realm, the job. There you go. Anna, this is the key of the city. Run for it.
Yeah.
What the first thing you would do?
Well, the first thing would be implementing my transition plan. So from the
Amen.
point in time, so you have those down months from while you have to wait for the county
Right.
to actually certify the results. That's why there's a lag time of when they're sworn in. And so January is the last possible moment that an entity must accept the results. And so
Yes.
usually the county finishes it in December.
Right.
But
And
the
your
city-
physical year start.
But no, because the city purposely delays
Oh, that's right.
to the last legal day possible to bring in. They've done that the last election. So no, so during that time from November, after you know that if whether or not you've won, I said you start putting your legitimate transition together and recapping. And so what the public entity should be doing, like any logical person, is you start recapping any outstanding issues so that it's an onboarding process. You know.
Right. Wow.
And so you hit the ground. Yeah. So this goes from me being at the city for so many decades. You know, I
Well,
understand about
it's
the
the
whole
time
transition.
frame.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is why the importance of understanding, having inside knowledge of how the inner workings of a city, and also having institutional knowledge of how to work things.
Wow.
You have to be able to hit the ground running on day one.
You know, why this time is so critical for Anna? The answer is this. This is my own answer to it. The COVID-19 pushed a lot of stuff back and hold, right? But she chose not to look at how the COVID-19 works, but she continued to work with families, after communities, after city, still looking out for the good benefits for families around her city and, neighbors. And that's why this is very critical, because the time that she has to shrink together to bring it's not that much time.
No, it isn't. And their people are still starving and are in need and need rental assistance. The work and resources are out there. It's a matter of the city compiling it and educating and doing the outreach to the community,
Right.
which they're doing a horrible job. This is why one of the questions asked. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're showing?
It's my
Since we-
souvenir.
Yes. Since we have to wear masks in California, mandatory, might as well. That's my logo in reverse color. So Meni for mayor.
Wonderful.
Had to, and our tagline is "Fight the good fight."
This is good.
And I had to put a say on there.
Wonderful. Look at that. Fight
Yeah.
a good fight.
Yes,
That's
what we've always said. So
yeah, for man whāra lava de pa ia man mamaro sa mōra mwhai whāwhunga mai nei Port Kalambe. Ia tōna ai o tō whāwhunga mai whāpea o le tau wānau ma le ai e reo le nā. O le nganga moni lava o taunu mai o le tua whine nei. E whaai loa atu ia te oe Samoa. E mawhai ona ia represent o te tonu o whai ngā mea I le loto I fale, ma le loto o le ato no nei, which is she's very well fed and ready to go in the battle. And it's not going to be that easy. E whainga tā, e iei fo I le fuafuaina o rana por kalame le ari tonu. O mea umaneu whata o tolia se ne tua whine wa tātou whanongo longo ni nei asu. E lema whauna I whatau nuina, e au noa ma lau pānota. E tā ua lau pānota. O lau pānota, o lo fo I leo, this is your right, this is your freedom, and this is who you believe and trust to lead you and to lead your family. You know, leo ngā nao le pānota, e le whapo se pānota fo le e whiai na I ei tātou. E tama whai lava tātou e o ese mai le tūlanga fo le e whapea, ia e sau mai upolu le tēne, sau mai te tuila, e sau mai manua, sau mai whea le ai, o le tēne Samoa. O le Samoa. O Samoa. Io, Samoa mo Samoa. Io, e ai foi sui o tātou I Samoa wa iai, whawhtaivi ele ele, a o whafo ese mai o se tātou lau ele ele. O lo iai le roloto whai ngā mea I le tai. This is it. Nela la ruis teine lea. Ia, o ainga umo foi lo whaafonga mai le nei tūlā. Ia, o lo iai o tau ainga mauo I Carson, I Carson. Ia, wala au mai a la tau support is teine. Ia, tama whai pe lava. O le ona I lava o la tama whai ina ia Manuia o e Samoa male lau tele o tangata.
And for those who are citizens of Carson, please call and register.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't register, you can't vote.
Yeah.
You know,
California allows up to last day registration.
Yes.
But
when?
Up to the election day, I believe.
A day.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They just have to have a show of ID.
Yes.
But for all of
8
those who
o'clock,
are
right? Up to 9 o'clock at night.
8 o'clock voting until 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Yeah.
But voting, early voting starts, I believe, this weekend, and so that not all sites, and then 4 days, so 10 days out starts the early voting, and then 4 days out, more locations are all open.
E wale mana. E wale. O le mana ia na o le male au ngāre na. Tātou umala wale au whaafonga mai au Australia, New Zealand. Ia. Whea wale tū o le vainga o le lalo langiro e whaafonga mai ni por kalame. Ia whai mase au ngā whamone mole. Whao ngā mai tātou a inga I Carson. Ia o iei au woma pāanga pe ona whaamana tuatu. A le mana ia o lan tatala no le netu la fiafi mo tātou Samoa fo e se fori ngana I tātou. E se le mana ia pa e whanongo longo ia I le au mai o lana por kalame, ma le tala no mai le mafuanga walai o nalu. O le teine fo wana I lo, wa ia loa fo I tausi matua. Tausi o na matua, a o fo I o na matua. Ia lewa sau e tausi o le matua Samoa, le ta mama le tina. A o toula tanga tā nuu, o le ayo Carson.
Ask her that last question.
Yeah.
What is her relationship with her parents? Because she grew up from, her dad alone, right?
Pardon?
Yeah.
You grew up from your dad alone.
Yes.
Your mom
My
was
mom
passed
died-
away when you were young.
Yes, my mom died in
Yeah.
94 when I was 15.
Yes.
So it's always been work that we did for cities. Everything that my sisters and I did was always to honor our parents. You know, there's always that longing you would hope to, do well for your parents, especially when they're not here.
Right.
So that was very special to us because, to honor your parents.
Yeah.
That's right.
And she was very adamant that all of us girls were blessed with our talents to serve God and serve our community. And like I told you, I know that God was not calling me to the pulpit. I know that for a fact. I know that. And, my sisters are teachers. Lord knows that wasn't my service. We've all been taught, life of service and live a life of service. And, that's part of our culture. But that's one of the things that people struggle with outside of Samoans is not understanding how Samoans can be so giving and not expecting something. I said, because that is part of our life. It's part of our culture.
You know what? And one other thing that I almost forgot to ask you, because there's so many different opinions.
Yes.
There's so many. How are you going to be able to deal with all these opinions when you become the mayor? What are you going to do?
Well, part of it is being leading and giving them the ability to say their put, but also figuring out what is the best course of action for
Right.
our city as a whole, not
Yes.
for the 5 of them. And this is where they've always, I this, I that. It's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about our community.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to be speaking of what is best for the community as a whole.
Right.
We're not going to always be able to please everybody,
Yeah.
but what I find is that you hear our elected officials saying, I this, I. It's not about us.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about everyone else.
That's right.
And so that's part of it, is being centered into what our goal is. Our goal is the servicing of our community. We
Right.
have 5 different, opinions of it. It's a matter of streaming it down and condensing it and figuring out what is the best course of action.
Right.
And so it's not about I, it's about them.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
With a city that was so much and so many nationalities mixed in this city. I can call City of Carson is a United Nation.
Sure.
There's so many people born into this city. I know you have a heart to bring all these people together, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to go to every single culture and speak?
Well, that's
and-
expected of you. You're supposed to do that. You don't do
Yes.
that months leading up to an election. You should be continuously doing that throughout the year. Like you literally, I tell people, you map out all the churches and you sit there and you just schedule them. And then you
Right.
go visit their churches. You should be visiting at least a church or two every month. And so that they get to see a face to the name, you get an opportunity to hear them out. But also too, I feel like the city has completely missed an opportunity of community engagement by not pairing up with our local churches.
Right.
There's
Wonderful.
different things that we can do to bring the community forward. And part of that is going through our different nonprofits, including the churches. Give them an opportunity to take lead on different city events, incorporate them. That's a way of engaging. And like I tell people, we need to do more joint efforts and not like, we're going to do this and that's
Right.
it. You come and participate. No, people are more inclined to come out and participate when they're part of it, part of the process. And so that is the way of that civic engagement that we should be doing with our different churches in the community.
Right.
So,
Another thing is what I see to me when I come down to Carson is the buildings for the school, right? And I think to me,
yeah.
and I think that's going to be a big project for you coming when you go into.
I've already been hit up by different people who let me know, like the high school, Carson
Yes.
High School. They have there's things that they actually went to the city for help. And they just told me the city didn't help them with anything, the baseball program. I said, what exactly do you need? And they said, we need our fields redone. And,
And the lights.
and the they have the lights now. But, their dugouts repainted and do stuff. I said, those are easy fixes. We could do as joint effort.
Right.
I said, the city has staff, but what you guys can do is fundraise for the materials and supplies.
That's right, yeah.
And then we get a waiver because you can't do any work because of liability on another property. And so we do a joint waiver where they would allow, as a way of engagement in the city giving back. I told them I would actually prioritize at least one work week a year where the city will use that for staffing costs. We already budget for them, but to set aside time so that we could do a community service project. And, all hands on deck. I told her, okay, the thing with the field, we could have easily done a walkthrough, reassess what the needs are, and check with our ground
Yes.
staff if they have the ability to do this. Have them, as the booster club and everything, fundraise for the supplies. City bring in their equipment, be able to knock it out, do the work with their materials. It's no additional funds because the city already has it budgeted for staff for the fiscal year. So there are different ways you can kind of do, so you could do that joint effort. And she goes, okay, you were able to tell me that in a minute. And she goes, we've been hounding the mayor and council, and they said, we're going to get back to you. I said, you got a better chance of Jesus coming on back before they get back to you guys. That's just honest. But
It is, yeah.
this what happens with being a staff person, but also being the president of the union. My members are the workforce across the entire city. Every single, from streets, grounds, social services, seniors, children, everything. Those are my members. So I learned over time in depth what everyone does. And so,
Wow, that's nice. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I'm so moved by what you just said. Basically, you just open up a doors for creating jobs for the city itself alone, for the citizen,
yeah.
for Carson. Because And then my next question is this: we know Carson High has lights now in the field. Mm-hmm. We've been struggling since 1994,
Yeah.
trying to get lights.
Jesus, I graduated in 97 from
Yeah.
Banning. Sorry, I'm from Banning.
But that was the home. But
The only
Sorry,
rivalry we
folks.
should have, Carson and Banning.
I think I'm gonna change my mind now. But I'll tell you what: for the city of Carson, this high school, Benny was the home game back in the days.
Yes.
And they never get along.
Yeah.
But now, are you planning to keep all the kids, all the Colts, all the Carnegie, all these kids back home to play their home games and enjoy their cities and enjoy their parents viewing them?
I would love to be able to do that, but it also goes back to logistics because
Yeah.
Carson High doesn't have enough parking,
Right.
enough areas, and quite honestly, a lot of residents have complained in the past.
Oh, God,
So
yes.
part of it is the whole community being on board with. And if they're not, and also too, the seating capacity is larger now at Banning than it is at Carson. So it's a matter of arranging for parking. But if neither one can host, we have the Dignity Health Center.
Right.
That would be a nice facility with plenty of parking, but they cost too much.
Yeah. But I have an idea.
Yes.
What about talk to the Mormon church right next to it, on the other side of
See,
220?
and that what I would do is give a little melofa
To the church.
yes, to assist them. They can either donate that as far as their assistance,
Yes.
as a tax write-off, that
There
instead
we go.
of renting the parking, and then you coordinate that and make sure you have enough volunteers to staff the streets so that
See?
people are more organized.
The Mormon church on 228th and Main.
Maine.
Now you know. See? Now we learned something from her.
Yeah.
Imagine it's a tax write-off for the church. Imagine that's a big donation.
Yeah, so versus having to pay for use of their parking,
Right.
whatever they deem that value is, that the school would be able to write off and provide a letter as
Right.
a tax write-off to them, as a thanking them for the donation.
Yes,
You know.
because it's been a long time. Torrance Carson's parents able to rejoice and watch their kids play on their own homeland, especially a home game.
Yeah, because
Wow.
they'd have to go to the Superior High School down there at
Wow.
Banning.
I didn't go
For
to
those of you
the-
not familiar, I'm from the east side of the city in Carson. It's called the Patch. And so we were the Banning district. So we went to Banning in Wilmington.
But it's okay. She went to Banning High School. Now she's gonna come serve Carson High School.
Of
See the
course,
truth now?
that's our
Let's go.
city.
That's why this one is red.
Yes.
I just
He
found
got
that out.
it.
This
So-
is why it's red and white.
Yeah,
Oh
black,
my
red, and
God.
white is the only true locals. Only true Carson locals would know the significance of the color.
Anna, you keep
that was a
pushing it.
little fun.
That's overkill. Look at that. It's overkilled. Yeah.
I rep my side of the city. I'm a
Yeah.
diehard. I'm a patch kid for life.
Talofa, Samoa, ia o fianga lava. Ia, tulepa. Nasi, manatu mai lau.
I don't have a final say because of our time is running out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we continue on with our program.
Okay, sis.
Yes.
Yeah. You can close our program tonight.
Why?
And we're going to continue to talk about you in days to come until the...
You can always come back before
Come
the
back.
Oh
election.
yeah,
Before the
I'll schedule with you guys. Just want to thank everybody once again for giving us this opportunity. Thank you guys. You guys are such fun co-hosts. But also to really emphasize the need of representation. This will be the first time we will legitimately have someone, let alone female, represent in the city of Carson and first someone elected official at a city level in the state of California, not
Amen.
even LA County. So, I don't take that lightly, but also too, that is not my skill sets. I have the ability to do the job. I have the heart to do the job. It's a matter of having people have faith and vote for somebody who is not new to politics, but not new to the city. I'm a lifelong resident. I have lived in the city my entire 41 years of my life. My family's been there longer than me. And so we need true public servants that serve the community with a servant's heart. And we don't have that now with our officials. And it's time to clean house.
That's
And
right.
so I ask that you guys vote for me on a Meni, number 1 on the ballot. So it doesn't matter if you vote electronically, if you come in person to vote. All local races come to the very top of the ballot. So I'm the first option.
Samoa and all the viewers, here we have Anna Meni. And thank you for tuning in tonight. Anna,
Yes.
may God bless you
Thank you.
and continue on to go to legacy. You're doing fine.
Yes.
You'll be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. O le upu mai lea fionga pa ia le atua mo i tātou le nei aso. O le tuse se laus fuma le lima salamo. Fai tau atoa i ai i le lau tusi. O na Filifilia i leo fai upu se funu ma le wha ma le se funu ma le vadu. E a vele fai ma matua o le nei tu la fiafi. Fe mai le matua e le ai se isi pāneta tātou te sulu fai i ai. A whaale anga ina le lalolangi, lea o loo tātou wola ma soifu ai. E le ai lava se isi pāneta o iai e mawhai o na tātou o na sulu whai ai. Tasi lava lo tātou sulu whainga, ua na o Yesu ke riso lava lo tātou alii ma lo tātou whaola. E tele ata ti whanga e whailoa mai ai le lalolangi o le a tupu i lea whaalavelave ma lea whaalavelave o aso matausanga. Wa le whaitau lia fo i le tele o masina. Ai o le atua lava mana ia ngā luenga na ia fōfoina mo le lei o lana whanau. Ngā luenga uma lava sa whai e le atua ua le lei. Wa ato atoa i ai o lo nalofa. Wa ato ato i ai le lavata pena o le tua i a te oe mau i le afi afi nei. Ai peitai, e ese fo i le manatu a sai nisi ia i la tova ai. A le va ai fo i a le tu o le whale nganga. Pau lava le nei. O le pāneta lava le nei na whai e le tua tātu te olam whanana wai. Ai whae a ina i le langi i le malo o le tua. E ei taimi o pua ngā mawhainga tā e tupu mai. O taimi fo i e vevesi mai o langona, le ngā whātia lo tātou mawhau whau. O na whetuu tunai, lava tā pena i ai, tā oso i ai o lo manu malo. Ai o le atua malo na whina ngalo, e tū mau pe lava ona o Yesu Keriso. Lea o le fofoanga le atua na amata mai i a Yesu Keriso lo nalo li pele tua tasi. Sai le amatanga o fuafuanga o ngā duenga lo tātou matai. Le nei wa tau aveina e le li o Yesu Keriso, se iau o mai lava i le nei tū la fiafi. O lo tū mau pe lava lea tautonga, se i o watu i le whaabavau. There is no plan B. There is no planet B. Christians might be tempted to take solace and walk away from their faith because of what they see and what they hear. Literally, they forgot and they forget God Himself still was and is to come. But God's creation has begun for so long, before we even take our first breath on this earth. But the love and the grace of God was born in the time of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. We're dealing with the COVID-19. This is new, but how will we be able to manage? The grace of God remains the same. There's so many things that is surrounding us that we don't know. We cannot comprehend it. But God Himself promised will be with you to the end. Gracious God, He gave us power and grace. This is how we walk through in tough times, especially when you feel lonely, especially when there's so much an enemy dumped it on you. But remain faithful. The grace of God is sufficient to your weakness. For you and your family tonight, we might sit around in the table and we say, this is all we have left. What tomorrow is bringing, we don't know. But one thing for sure we know is promised. God will bring what your family need. God Himself will use people to lead us and to fulfill our needs. God Himself will choose people that to put into place as a voice and as hand and legs for us. For our eyes and our ears will listen to what God has to say. But God chose people specifically for this way. It's not only pastors, even people running for office. God used them as well. It's His choice to bring people together. God speaks to your heart tonight. It's for you to make the right choice. Not only to receive His Son as Lord and Savior for your life, but He speaks to you to vote faithfully. Meni is with us tonight. She was not here for no accident. She's here for purpose. She's serving a part of the glory of God and the grace of God. She'll become your voice, Samoa, and all our viewers around the world. Yes, we don't understand and we not come together and agree on all the politics and all the aspects. But one thing that we know, God Himself will call Anna to lead our voice and to be our representative. We don't take no step back, but we must take the step forward. Your support and your love and your faith will count. She represents your voice as well as our Lord Jesus Christ. Samoa and our neighbors, may God bless you all and have a blessed weekend. We'll see you in the near future. Let's close with a prayer. Le tua mamanae lo mātou tamapa ia. O oe o le tua e te Filifilia mea tonu. Na e whaia lava le tangata I lau Filifilinga. E pui pui ma teu teu iai lo malo. Le tua lo mātou tamā. Mātou te talo whātasi ma le tua whinenei. Wha moe moe atu. Mo le vai aso o lumana I le Filifilinga. No fua whai pule ma tō whinga. Wha pale ia te ia I le pale. O le manu malo mai a te oe. Whawhangu ia te I lātou. E si tia o ia I le whainga palota. E le lilo fo I le mātou wala aua tu ia o te oe lo mātou tamā. Fua ia te ia le tino malosi. Manatu le leit. O le alofa. Anga malu. Maulalo. Fua ia te ia. Me ai o vai e inu mai lau fio. Tausi ia te ia. Pui pui ia te ia. Ile suafo Yesu Kiriso. Mātou te ole mawala aua tuai. Amen.
Oh
At Best Buy, you can always count on getting the latest tech